Live news and sports, they were supposed to keep us in the cable bundle. But now, you've got Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime.
Thursdays, only on Prime Video.
Lionel Messi on Apple TV. WWE SmackDown on Netflix.
Lesnar wasn't gonna wait.
Even traditional TV is giving in with a new mega sports app coming.
ESPN, Fox, and Warner Brothers Discovery all partnering on a new streaming sports platform.
Live sports was the last holdout. Now it's embracing the cord cutters. This week on Tech Check, we've been barreling toward a new rebundling. So is this TV's breaking point and ours? Live news and sports have been the last to bend in the shift to streaming.
Now we have to download Peacock just to watch an NFL playoff game?
We're all tired of having to get all of these streaming platforms constantly to be able to watch something that we used to be able to just turn on the TV and see.
For years, ESPN and Fox have resisted adding a full direct-to-consumer service, partly because it's hard to go at it alone.
It's hard to be on your own in the sports world because there isn't that sort of year-round viewership. Sports are very seasonal and very tribal.
But likely the bigger reason, TV ads are still big money, and sports is holding the cable bundle together.
Sports is what has driven pay TV pretty much for decades.
So traditional networks are turning to a new strategy, band together and embrace a new era. Shocking consumers and the sports leagues themselves, Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers announced a joint streaming service that would include ESPN, ABC, Fox Sports, and more. So instead of holding on to TV viewership, they will drive fans to streaming and potentially speed up the demise of the traditional bundle. The writing was on the wall. Pay TV is shrinking at a record pace, and viewers are increasingly going where the live sports are. 40% of growth that streaming platforms saw in the third quarter, that came from football. And in a new media landscape where streaming is king, legacy players have decided that they want to use what they have, expensive sports rights, to drive signups on their own platforms.
It's proved that streaming sports can work. You can get eyeballs. You can get a mass sort
of. It can work technically, all that.
Technically, but then also just culturally. People can adapt to it and say, like, you know, where's streaming? I'll go watch it.
Even if it's not clear that this new strategy will work. The Disney, Fox, Warner Brothers mega sports app would only account for about 55% of U.S. sports rights.
This does not solve the one-stop shop for all sports rights for a sports fan.
And it's expensive for users, expected to cost more than $40 a month when it launches. But embracing the shift may be better than letting it happen.
I'd rather be a disruptor than to be disrupted.
NBC's first Peacock exclusive NFL game, that was a watershed moment. A playoff game from a legacy TV network you could only watch on a streaming service. It was a huge success.
The game, Jim, was the most streamed event in U.S. history, 23 million viewers, largest usage of the internet ever at 30% of web traffic.
A traditional network putting all of its eggs in the streaming basket that went off without a hitch.
It was flawless.
It was flawless.
And managed to drive record subscribers to the streaming platform.
Those 2.8 million people who signed up for Peacock made the wildcard weekend the biggest subscriber acquisition moment ever.
A giant payoff for a giant gamble that companies like our parent company, NBC, are being pressured to make. Another reason traditional networks are speeding up the move to streaming, big tech is hot on their tail. Apple, Amazon, Netflix, they have very deep pockets, and they're throwing around billions of dollars in sports rights battles.
They have the big money, right? So NBA renewals are coming up. They could come in and grab a huge portion of that. Amazon grabbed Thursday Night Football. That's actually been a huge success for them.
Not to mention Alphabet. YouTube TV is now the fourth biggest TV provider in the country with 8 million subscribers. You could almost call it its own cable company. And you could almost call the new streaming landscape the new bundle, or the great rebundling. Rising prices, commercials, content overload. We've talked about this before.
We're going to be right back to the cable setup.
Yes, we will be.
We've always had. This is like, oh, well, unbundle everything, split it up. Yeah, not really.
People are cutting the cable TV bundle, and now some streamers are starting to rebundle. Kind of amazing.
When is this going to end? When is our streaming nightmare going to end?
If you thought we'd moved on from the cable bundle, think again. Streaming platforms, they're recreating the very thing they tried to displace. The original appeal of the direct-to-consumer streaming apps, easy to use, easy to afford. $5 a month for Netflix was a lot cheaper than the $60 a month for Xfinity or Spectrum's host of channels. But lately, streamflation has hit hard. The average cost of a major ad-free streaming service has increased by nearly 25% in the past year alone. Netflix went from $10 a month and then $15.50. Paramount Plus from $10 to $20. Disney Plus from $8 to $14. And then there's Max, going from $15 to $16. The average household, it has 4 different services, and the edge streamers did have is going away.
You see one platform raise its prices, but then, you might think it's just $1 or $2, but they're all doing it, so it really adds up.
So paying for a basket of the top US streaming services that includes Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, and Peacock, that would cost $87 a month. That is more than the average cable TV package, which costs $83.
Now with streamflation, as each of these individual services has gotten more expensive, if you're going to bundle them together yourself, you may actually end up paying more.
A bundle by any other name, that's still a bundle. The price hikes were part of a broader economic reset as interest rates soared after the pandemic and the era of free money ended. Media giants like Warner Brothers and Disney, they began to crack down, focusing on cost cutting and efficiency.
Now the industry's emerging from this growth at all costs model to one that's envisioning profitability.
Companies like Disney, they were losing millions of dollars every quarter on their streaming businesses, and then they realized that they had to jack up prices to stop the bleeding.
You look at how much revenue ESPN generates versus ESPN Plus, and you have a fair idea of how tough it is to be a streamer in this age, especially when every single major company has its own streaming platform.
Another appeal of streaming services, no ads. Well, that's going away too. As Netflix, HBO, Disney, they all began offering ad-supported tiers. Streamers basically just learning what cable companies knew all along. Advertising is a money-printing machine. They make more on a viewer watching ads, even if the monthly fee for subscribers is way lower.
The monthly revenue from the ads was so great that the ARPU, or the average revenue per user for the ad-supported people paying $5 less a month, was actually higher and materially higher than the ARPU for those who were taking the no ad version.
Netflix, too, has said that they make more on members with the ad plan.
It's kind of a win-win because it's a lower price option for our members, and it's both kind of incremental revenue, incremental profit to as a bit for the business.
As Yogi Berra put it, deja vu all over again. The commercials and expensive monthly fees of the cable bundle days, they're back. They're just online this time. It's why more and more viewers are starting to cut the cord, this time on streaming services. Research shows that some 35 million users canceled their subscriptions to a streaming service in the second quarter of this year, while only 37.5 million signed up. That's a net addition of just 2.6 million. The industry calls it churn.
People can just sign up for 1 month, watch everything they want of a new hit show, whatever it might be, The Bear on Hulu, and then cancel it for the next 11 months.
That kind of behavior, it has increased an average of 35% from last year.
The risk now is that those higher prices could drive churn, especially if consumers are disappointed by just how little new content is added this fall.
Netflix has been relatively insulated, continuing to invest in originals or striking deals to license content from others.
It's why Netflix is flourishing and taking market share while their peers are slowing down.
But Paramount Plus, Peacock, Max, and Apple TV, they're seeing some of the highest rates of churn. Part of it is because content is hard to find.
There's people that are, not Luddites or whatever. They're like, I can't find what I want to watch because everything's all spread out.
And it's expensive to make. A streaming service has to continuously generate new must-see shows or movies just to keep you from canceling.
These services need to create enough content to keep you there all year. Most of the media companies right now, legacy media companies, you're seeing them reduce content spend, cut back pretty dramatically in order to get to profitability.
It's a lot of pressure for a single streamer, and it's why many are looking to new partnerships with old rivals. The great bundling is complicating the once straightforward streaming landscape and creating once unheard of alliances. Longtime rivals are teaming up through deals of all shapes and sizes, and we'll try to break it down for you. There are the bundles owned by a single company, so under one umbrella, like Disney, ESPN, and Hulu. Then there are licensing deals, like Netflix's earlier this year with Warner Brothers for older HBO titles. Verizon's latest deal combines two competing streaming platforms, a new frontier in telco rebundling.
Verizon announced a bundle deal for the ad tiers of both Netflix and Max for $10 a month. That's a 40% discount compared to their standard prices.
Even retailers are trying to break in. Instacart is bundling Peacock, Walmart with Paramount. Even two competing platforms may be getting together. Apple and Paramount in talks reportedly to bundle into a cheaper package, according to the Wall Street Journal. The two have among the highest churn rates in the industry.
Apple TV Plus and Paramount Plus both have more than 7% churn. That's ahead of the industry average of 5.7%.
And they could use the help with their content.
Both of them have relatively less new content specifically for streaming than some of the other services, obviously like Netflix and maybe even Max.
Apple TV's library, it is the smallest, just about a tenth of the content of the next Disney Plus.
You might sign up for Apple TV Plus to watch the morning show, but then once you've gone through all their other shows, what's going to keep you around?
Adding Paramount's lineup, including the film studios, CBS, and the newly added Showtime library, that would be a way to reduce churn. It could also hint at an even bigger coming sea change. Launching the streaming services was just the first step. Partnerships are second. And the final could be M&A if some of these partnerships work out.
Over time, streaming needs to migrate towards these big tech platforms. And I thought breakups and sales of libraries, sales of sports assets is the way that's going to happen.
Paramount or parts of it have long been a potential acquisition target.
There have been a lot of speculation about who might be interested in buying up some of those pieces of Paramount.
Rumors have long swirled of Warner Brothers merging with CNBC parent company NBC Universal, or Apple buying Disney, Lionsgate, or Paramount.
Certainly these partnerships, these kind of synthetic bundlings may be kind of a partial step.
Regulatory approval, that's likely to be a hurdle, but one thing remains true. What's old is new again, and the bundle is back.